I think the first time we chatted about the idea of global digital currency was literally about 7 years ago. A lot has changed since then on many fronts, including in the realm of digital currency. But I think there's increasingly a lot more to talk about than there was 7 years ago.
I think that's certainly right, and certainly those like you who have been pushing this movement forward in various ways, I think have made substantial progress. I don't think we're anything like in the eighth inning yet, but perhaps we're out of the first inning, or maybe I should move from baseball to history.
Yeah.
And
can't get the season started yet, so it's
paraphrase Churchill by saying that we're not at the end and we're not at the beginning of the end, but maybe we've gotten to the end of the beginning, as there's a flourishing ecology in this area of payments and monetary innovation.
Yeah, very much so. And I agree with you. It does feel like the end of the beginning. And when we got started, we thought, oh, this will take 5 to 10 years to kind of get to the place where you can actually do a lot of the things that we imagined were possible, and then probably another 10 years before it really has a big impact in the world. And we're kind of right on schedule. But maybe we can start. I want to kind of step away from digital currency first and focus in a little bit on the global economic crisis that's happening like right now in front of us, because I feel like the macro context is really important to ultimately to the subject matter of the future of the international monetary system. And we heard obviously from the IMF yesterday or today, their new forecast for the world economy declining 5% this year, the U.S. economy down 8% this year, and that actually even has some assumptions in it around some return of economic activity. Maybe just to start. You got the U.S. and then you've got the rest of the world. This economic crisis. Where do you think we are in this, and maybe share a little bit of your outlook?
I think it's useful to distinguish between three phases: collapse, bounce back, and slog forward. And I think in the United States, at least for the moment, we're post-collapse. You saw that in the fact that unemployment came down from April to May. There were reasons to doubt those figures, but you also saw a big increase in retail sales from April to May. And I went for the first time in 3 months to a restaurant and sat indoors last night. So I think you're seeing a bounce back from the collapse. That's the good news.
Right.
I think the bad news is that it's far from clear how sustainable and continuing that bounce back is going to be. We have pretty much opened up enough and have generated enough interaction that on a nationwide basis, we no longer really have the level of COVID, or over time, the level of COVID death, under control and shrinking. And so right now, it looks to me like we're going to be playing whack-a-mole with outbreaks for really quite some time to come. I doubt we're going to have another New York, because I think there's more awareness of all of this. And so we won't let things go as far as they did in New York before shutting down. But I also don't think we're going to put this securely in the rearview mirror. And anybody who thought it was going to get put securely in the rearview mirror without a vaccine just needs to contemplate what we've seen in the last 10 days in both Beijing and in Germany. So I don't think this bounce back is going to be to anything like the previous levels that we'd reached.
Yeah.
And then I think we're going to be slogging forward until we get to a vaccine. And I hope that you and I and your listeners will all have been vaccinated a year from now.
Yeah.
To be honest, that's not something I expect.
Yeah.
I think the lag from the time that a drug company or a set of scientists announce a breakthrough, we have a vaccine, till it's been accepted, tested, practically implemented everywhere, I think those are rather long lags. And my expectation would be that it will be quite some time. So I don't think we're going to enjoy the as rapid a recovery as people expected. And I think something broadly parallel to that is true with respect to the rest of the world, where you're going to always have a spots of maximum concern. And my guess is that because of vaccines likely to be available fairly pervasively here before it's available fairly pervasively globally, my guess would be that the rest of the world will trail the United States somewhat in terms of recovery.